Start out with some questions for the players, please. Mike's on both sides. Michael?
Where do you feel like this team's at offensively with everybody knowing where to go and just kind of getting the rest of that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's our second exhibition game, so still got a lot of work to do. But I think we grew a lot just from our last game. Versus Oklahoma, watching the film and breaking down the stuff that we need to break down. And I thought we made some steps tonight.
John, in the front here.
No, not very often that we're looking at a 0 for 4 at the free throw line. Kind of what went wrong there for you? And it seemed like kind of everybody tonight in there.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, I guess. You just got to move on. Not get in our own heads and know that, we made those a million times. So it's just something that, it's more muscle memory than getting in your own head and, overthinking it. So, I'm not too worried about it. It is what it is, and we'll all move on as a team. Like you said, it just wasn't a great shooting night from us. But, we're all confident in ourselves, and I think moving forward, that'll improve.
For either of you guys, knowing the injury here, it seemed like in the first half the ball was moving pretty well, but maybe shots weren't going up as often. Did you feel like he was a little passive early on before you guys settled in?
Yeah, I mean, when we get the ball moving like that side to side, we're really hard to guard. So, that was one of the things we kind of focusing on this week just for this game. Just moving the ball side to side and getting open looks. And we live with that result. If we're moving the ball and touching the paint, driving kick, and getting open shots, we live with those.
Go ahead, Ben.
No, you know how tough it is as a freshman in the D1 level. I'm curious, Will, Alexis, where have they impressed you so far, and what kind of steps have they made that leads you to believe that they can help you guys in the court this year?
Yeah, I think both of them bring their own kind of unique game style. With Alexis, he's a strong physical force down low. Obviously, he's had a lot of experience overseas playing against some really high-level competition. So for that to translate over here, he's been really impressive. He's been super mature. He's an older freshman, so he's been fun to work with for sure. And then Will Garlock, obviously you see him. He's 7'1", and he's filled out. So with his athleticism, he's got a lot. His ceiling is very high. As a freshman, I've been there too. In this offense, and you get out in the Kohl Center for the first time in front of a lot of fans, and your head could be spinning a little bit. So, with a little bit of time, I know both of those will make a big impact for our team in their own unique ways.
John, right up front.
For either of you guys, it seemed like Carrington kind of came in there late in the first half, gave you guys a spark when you guys went that 7-0 run. Kind of, what did you see there from him, and what does he kind of add to this team on both ends? Yeah,
he brings a ton of energy off the bench that we most certainly need. Offensively, really good offensive rebounder, crashes the glass. Defensively, he's a strong guard, not afraid to D up and get his hands in there and get his nose in there. So what he brings for us off the bench and the physicality that he plays with is huge, and his capability to knock down the shots and get to the hoop like we saw tonight, that's going to be huge for us moving forward.
And you got a lot of ball handlers out there. You and Nick and John are still trying to figure things out, I'm sure. But how do you sort of balance, being aggressive and getting open shots and trying to facilitate more so than playing off the ball?
Yeah. No, it's definitely been a learning experience for me, just, playing alongside those guys for these past couple of months, just trying to learn their games and learn the spots they want the ball at and things like that. But, I think just letting the game come to me, letting, when things happen just naturally, not trying to force anything, because, once you start forcing it, can go south quick. So just kind of letting it come to me when I get the ball in my hands, and, when I get in spots where I can facilitate and kind of, make my passes and make my reads on, just letting it come to me. Yeah.
So Andrew in the back.
Nola, what would you say maybe the confidence level is in this team after, learning a little bit about yourselves in the preseason and heading into the regular season?
Yeah, I think we have a high confidence level in ourselves, and from the coaches, I think we took a good steps tonight defensively. I think, in Oklahoma, we weren't very synergized, as coach likes to say, and towards the end of the second half there, we kind of found our footing a little bit, stopping the ball, keeping it in front of us. So, just brick by brick every day, get a little bit better at certain spots, and No, I like this. I like this squad a lot. We got a lot of firepower. Obviously, tonight we didn't shoot as well as I know that we can, but moving forward, I know what we're capable of, and I think we're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Got one more question up here. Michael?
Obviously, two very different opponents you played in the last 5 days, but you struggled finishing at the rim against Oklahoma. I guess is there anything you took from that game and what you learned moving forward in this game and the rest of the year?
Yeah, I kind of threw that game out of the window personally. That wasn't me. So moving forward, it's finishing stronger, with the mentality of dunk and everything. That's where I got to be at. Just more physical mindset. And like I said, I threw that game out the window a long time ago. So I'm moving forward, head high, and know what I'm capable of.
Okay. Want me to sit between you? I have brothers too. We want to start out with some opening comments from both coaches.
Sure.
Greg?
We'll let the younger brother.
Okay.
He's got to travel. He's got to get back home. Exactly. No, obviously the venue, knowing the reason behind the game. I think last night I talked with Coach Ryan and we talked about obviously how when these guys were back in Platteville, you would crawl to Madison to have an opportunity to play in this type of game now. And I think that's obviously we educated our guys on the history of this exhibition game and how it obviously the Division I, Division III exhibition games now become part of it because of what Coach Ryan obviously in his time. So, appreciative of obviously Wisconsin and Greg giving us the opportunity and more importantly, knowing the why behind the game as well. It's much more than just a basketball game. And our guys obviously enjoyed it and we got a lot to learn from it.
Yeah, I think anytime you can play against a team that's preparing for a season, there was a lot of things we took from Friday against Oklahoma and tonight a little bit different in terms of the scout and the actions that we guard. So there'll be things that we'll pull from this film. But again, as Jeff mentioned, just the cause behind it and watching everybody. And I didn't really see all the timeouts and the groups that were here. But just really appreciative of all those people that put so much time in behind the scenes to help, not only here locally with people's cancer journey and fight, but also across the state. We have so many awesome organizations that maybe don't get the publicity that the bigger ones do, like a GAC, but they're very vital to a patients and the caregivers and the families around them with their journey, whether it's simple rides to appointments, meal cards or gas cards, massage therapy, wigs, just support, emotional support. It takes a toll obviously on a patient. I'm stating the obvious there, but it also takes a toll on the caregivers and the people around them because it's a long, hard grind to go through a cancer journey. So to be able to recognize those people and all the people that are pushing to this one time when we're all on the same team and really have a united front to try to help the people across the state.
Questions for coaches? John or Frank?
Greg, it seems like turnovers was obviously an issue for you guys. Do you attribute that to kind of young, new group kind of gelling with each other, or kind of where do you see that kind of coming from?
Well, I think part of it is, yes, playing together and becoming more accustomed and have that synergy develop. Some of it is also some fundamental things of playing too fast in the moment, or when we did attack, not playing off 2 feet, not being strong with the ball, not chinning the ball. Things that are obviously correctable. A couple of them are on me because I went with the smaller lineup at one point with black ball 4. I hadn't done that even practiced it. We got we had one fly out of bounds on that. And it was, everybody didn't know where everybody else was. We were out of sorts and out of shape within the offense. So, it's, we'll dissect all 15 of them. One was an illegal screen that wrong place, shouldn't have been there. So understanding, I think, the attention to detail that we demand all the time. And that's something that as players get more entrenched in our program, they understand that you're not going to shoot 18 for 25 from 3 every night. There's going to be a 6 for 25 night. There might be a 3 for 25 night. But if you defend, rebound, and take care of the ball, it'll give you a chance. So, the turnovers will break down and look at. And but I was happy with how we turned up the defensive pressure late in the first half, and then I finally found a combination that was connected enough and together enough in terms of covering up for each other in the back half of that second half that we were able to get enough stops.
Nick, up front.
Greg Nolan was just in here, mentioned that he was kind of disappointed about how he finished on Friday and then how tonight was more like him. Just what did you like about some of his approach? And Jeff, if I could ask you just what kind of stands out about Nolan as a player, especially when he is aggressive like that? I don't know.
Well, I think just for him, it's playing with a level of confidence to dominate because he has that type of talent. For him, the biggest step is going to be from here up. It's that mentality that I want him to play with all the time because, I know he goes 0 for 4 from the free throw line. That has nothing to do with his physical ability to shoot the ball, just him having a mindset and not allowing anything to take him off that path. And that's the jump he's got to make to become an elite player because at his size, with how he shoots it and how he moves, he has all the physical attributes you need. Now it's a matter of the maturity to make himself a really complete player.
Yeah, I just say obviously when he's got confidence, and I've seen enough of him obviously over the last few years as well, but when he's got confidence in himself, I mean, he's one of the best. And I think that was one of the things we challenged our guys is just make him feel uncomfortable, pressure him, get up into him a little bit more. Don't give him the opportunity to get comfortable. And I think that was one of the things that we emphasized with our bigs. Obviously, it's early. It helped a little bit, but I think obviously he's going to be fine. He'll find his rhythm.
So after Friday, you said how you kind of allowed the offense to run on its own course. Was that kind of the same thing here today? And how did we kind of see them early on just trying to navigate through that?
Yeah, we went to a few more scripted calls at times. Like we came out of the gate with a couple. We started the second half with one. We had an illegal screen on another one that took away a layup. There wasn't a lot of them, but just trying to maybe look at getting to more middle ball screens and those things. And then, when Aussie banged a couple threes, trying to play off his vapor on some ghost screening and drive his cut. And it's really not the play. It's a matter of making a play and finishing a play. I thought in the first half, I thought we were just too loose, too many turnovers. But from a standpoint, we were physical enough, finishing around the rim, finishing through contact. Like I said, taking care of the ball, chinning the ball, things that they'll understand. I think that's one thing they continue to learn is how the attention to detail every single possession is it's a non-negotiable if you want to be really, really good. You can't let them get away with something. The old saying is you never accept anything in victory that you wouldn't accept in defeat. So anything that every possession matters, no matter who you're playing, no matter what the score is, play the game the right way and you'll develop good habits. And then when we get to, down the road, hopefully those habits come back to really help us.
Michael.
You have 14 players in your roster now. I guess what ability do you have to address that in the near future?
I think right now we're just at 14. The 4 frontline guys have been at forefront from the start of camp. They've separated themselves. And we just got to work to help continue to get those guys better.
John?
Jeff, that was a nice 7-0 run that you guys went on right away. Kind of what was going right for you guys, and any bragging rights to your big brother for that?
No, I won't brag about anything. It's I think it was just a product of we're older. I didn't know, I mean, no offense, but when our guys have played together, I had 4 guys on the floor that, or really 5 guys that were out there that just have been in sync. And we talked about it the last couple of days. I said, we've been in big games, we've been in the NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eights the last 3 years. There's a comfort level, you know, and you know, I said, it doesn't matter what stage, and Greg hit on it too. I said, basketball's basketball. You know, you got to go play your game, do what you do. And like I said, I think it's the stage that we've been on over the last few years has helped our guys. You know, we don't have a deer in the headlight look. We're coming in here, we're competing, we know what we have to do. And I thought it was good. And there's some things obviously we'll see on film that we'll clean up. But so I was proud of our guys to continue to compete, not just with the 7-0 run, but just, you know, battle all the way through that first half. And, you know, I had some shots that we don't get the second chance, don't give them a second chance opportunity out of it, finish that possession out.
Right in the middle on that bed.
Greg, you played 2 exhibition games now. Going into the regular season, what is the biggest takeaway you can take from these last 2 games?
We got a long ways to go. We got to get a lot better, which, you know, we should have a ways to go. Tonight was different because we guarded more off-ball actions. Oklahoma was more ball screens, so it gave us a different, you know, we don't see a ton of swing stuff in terms of what Jeff's doing. So it was good in terms of that. So now we've seen a team that was predominantly ball screens with Oklahoma, and we've seen a lot of off-ball actions where they understand how to cover for each other, when to switch screens, when not to. But we've got a long ways to go. We got to continue to get better. I think our ceiling is high, and it should be for October. I hope we wouldn't be touching our head on the ceiling right now. We better have a ways to go, and we do. And that's why you play these games. I wish we had more. Quite frankly, we need 2 more minimum, just from you know, he's got 1 more coming yet for his preseason, but I just think you learn so much more. And with the transient nature of today's world of the rosters, the more you can get to experiment and learn. You know, I learned more tonight. You know, I learned Hayden Jones told me some good stuff. You know, I liked some of the things other than that pass he had to Blackwell in the second half. I thought I wanted to play him more against Oklahoma, and I didn't. So there's only 200 minutes in a game in 5 spots, so it's trying to get, you know, more experience so you learn for when you're down the road. Hopefully you force growth through those experiences.
I have one more question. Ben, go ahead.
Greg, with the roster news of yesterday, did that change your approach at all? Anything with the depth of your front court, with how you're going to manage guys? And what, for these 2 games, what do you like about the steps that those 2 guys, Alexis and Will, have made to give you that depth you need in the front court?
Yeah, I think what I like is that they both can get a lot better, you know, and I see it in practice. I see it more, and that's typical with young guys. You when the lights go on, and maybe they don't have the opportunities in games. They don't have the number of possessions that I see in practice. I mean, if any would have been at practice yesterday, Will Garlock would have been the first pick you would have taken if you watched 3 possessions with how he played in the post. But he isn't, you know, lights go on, he gets in a game, and he doesn't get as many reps. You know, he's on the scout team, so he's getting a lot of run, and then I bring him over. So with him and Alexis, the same thing. It's a matter of experience and getting those guys continue to grow, because they both are going to be really good players. They're both good players right now, but they're inexperienced in some ways. And the only way we get that is and like I said, those 4 guys between Nolan, Aussie, Alexis, and Will, through all of camp, really separated themselves, regardless of who was on the roster or not. I was really confident that I'm very confident those are the 4 we got to continue to work with. And, you know, Greppy's had a couple of really good days here lately. You know, J Rob will give us a little utility knife at times, much like Gilmore did. I think, and the ability to switch things if we get into some of those as time goes on. But the four that have separated themselves are the four that you've seen in the rotation.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks.